they are, or you put your foot down and you say, no, things are not okay, and if they're not going to change, I will. It's the frightening moment when you realize there's nothing healthy about your relationship with your current life partner, but the idea of leaving and being alone is utterly paralyzing. It's the sickening instant when you tell yourself you're better off in a bad relationship than to be alone. These soul-searching episodes seem to coincide conveniently with what I call life's potholes. The detours, roadblocks, or that loose gravel that wreaks havoc with an otherwise lovely bike path. They take the form of postponed ambitions, unexpected health concerns, our own or those of loved ones, and the most annoying one of all, weight control, or lack of it. Right about this time, we might seek out guidance, if we haven't already, in the form of self-help books, teachers, and or therapy. We reach outside ourselves for the answers and look to someone or something to light the way. Most of the books reinforce concepts you already know, but don't believe that you're capable of. Same with the teachers. Whether they're based in friendship, religion, or philosophy, they tell you nothing new, but keep trying to remind you of how powerful you are. But the therapists are the most frustrating of all. They know the answer, but they won't tell you. They slyly keep you coming back as they secure their income stream by feeding you just enough to feel like progress. But just like Glenda, the Good Witch of the North told Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, you don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power. Don't hold your breath waiting to hear that from your therapist. But Glenda's right. You've always had the power. So, what does all this lead to? Choices. All the choices we have made in our lives so far. The consequences? They're irrelevant. They are what they are. You had no influence regarding the results, as generally speaking, others are involved or affected by those choices, and you can't control them. But the decisions you made were entirely your doing. Even when you said, but I had no choice, you did. So, I ask you now, in examination of a lifetime of choices, by a show of hands, yes, this is group participation, how many women in this room have made all the right choices? Don't think so. Put your hand up if you feel it. Okay. What must you think of us? That I'm arrogant, superior, delusional, unrealistic? No, just honest. Every single decision I have made in my life, under whatever circumstances, no matter whom I may have hurt, regardless of the consequences, was absolutely the right choice. Why? Because they paved my forward path and brought me here. Simply, certainly, inevitably, right here. I put it to all of you that all your choices have been correct. They were perfect and necessary in your forward evolution. Chew on that one for a second or two. Go ahead, there's no extra calories. How many of you have said, if I had my life to do over again, I'd make so many different decisions? No, you wouldn't. If you are you, you will do exactly as you have done. Your journey is as unique to you as your fingerprints. And whether you believe in past lives or not, destiny is more than just a popular name for strippers. Do you believe that your future, your destiny as it were, is completely preordained or random? Does it matter? What you do have is time. Sure, we don't know how many hours, days, weeks, months, or even years we have, but it's the one resource we waste the most and the one we cannot buy. What we can change is how we approach it and what we do with it. Now, without a doubt, dragging that luggage I referred to slows us down, and it shaves time off of our allotment. Creating illness does that too. And even if you're bedridden, that clock just keeps on ticking, unless it's digital. Steve Jobs was just 56 years old when he died, a comparatively young man. Yet during his short spell on this earth, he revolutionized the way we live several times over. Granted, he was an A personality, but he made each day count until he was ready to leave. Are you excited about your future? Do you feel energized and supported by the people and situations you surround yourself with? Do you feel like you're moving forward, or just laterally? What brings you joy, and do you do it? If you do, congratulate yourself and keep it up. If not, what are you waiting for? It's time to bust loose! Thank you. I'm going to take a sip of water. I would like to read to you now just a brief portion from my first book, Who Got Liz Gardner? This passage takes place when Liz is 12 years old, and her mother, Radiance, real name by the way, suspects her father, Mike, is having an affair. In 1971, Mom pleaded with Dad to forego a trip to New York for a psychiatric convention. She'll be there, won't she? You're going to go be with her? I swear to God, Mike, I can't take much more of this. Just don't go. Stay home with your family this weekend. We need you, please, she screeched, grabbing at his neatly folded clothes in the suitcase in a feeble attempt to thwart his intentions. No, Radiance. This is work. He grabbed her wrists and shoved her on the bed forcefully. Then he calmly retrieved the fallen attire. I'm going alone. For God's sake, you know I'm a key speaker at the convention. I have to go. Then take me with you. He said nothing. He turned silently, shook his head, and walked out of the house, slamming the door behind him. Mom wasn't defeated yet. She didn't need to qualify her actions with his blessing or invitation, so she followed him to the Plaza Hotel in New York City. She provided identification to the front desk, proving she was Dr. Gardner's spouse, and they automatically gave her a key to his room. Mom disregarded the do not disturb sign hanging on the doorknob and promptly subjected herself to a visual usually associated with crimes of passion. Dad and Lantana hadn't even unpacked, but they didn't need clothes for what they were doing. Intellectually, Mom knew what she would find. Her gut, however, was unprepared to digest reality. Oh my God. Mike, how could... Her face going ghostly pale. Dad and Lantana regarded her more with disgust than surprise at being interrupted. They shot her a frozen stare offering nothing. No excuses, no shamed recoil, no explanation, no hello, nothing. They didn't move or say a word, but patiently waited until she felt humiliated enough to leave. Mom backed out, head bowed and lips quivering. She closed the door softly as if she were nothing more than a maid who had accidentally walked in on the guests. They resumed having sex, and Mom broke down and wept in the lobby, waiting hours for Dad to seek her out and ask for forgiveness. Like that was going to happen. Mom returned to Tampa and filed for divorce. True to his colors, Dad screwed her with the settlement. He'd already taken steps to convert everything of considerable value to joint ownership with Lantana, namely his properties and investment portfolio. He amended his will, removing any inheritance for me and my brother. What the hell did we do? He wasn't even married to her, and never would be. We helplessly watched Dad being seduced by this siren, luring this passing sailor to his inevitable conclusion.